If you have a friend, a loved one, or someone that's close to you, or someone that you know or haven't seen within the past 2 to 3 days, we ask that you call the Guam Police Department at 475-8473 or 475-8615. That is our Guam Police Dispatch. Okay, and so that's the stage that we're at with this case. Based on what we do know at this point, we're dealing with a death investigation, and based on the information available to us at this time, we suspect that foul play was involved. However, because there's no medical examiner immediately available, we need to conduct the autopsy to confirm whether or not we are dealing with a homicide.
Chief, I know you said that you are waiting for the autopsy results to confirm what your investigators believe may be the case. Can you speak to the condition of the woman's body whenever investigators?
Yeah, no, so we can't speak to the condition of the body at this time, just to protect the integrity of the investigation.
There were reports that she was unclothed?
Yeah, we cannot confirm anything at this time to the general public.
Was there any security video that investigators were able to take from around the businesses around the area that might be able to assist?
Yes, so we are canvassing the area, and we are looking at whether or not maybe this victim may have visited some of the 24-hour establishments within the immediate area, but that's still being done at this time.
Do you know how long the woman's body was there before it was discovered? Is there any indication about that?
So we're looking at, that's why we're asking anybody for within the past 2 to 3 days. Yeah.
And who discovered the body?
Just people that were in the area. Yeah.
You said she was in her early 30s
to 40s, yeah. In her 30s or 40s.
This area is a pretty quiet neighborhood. Did anyone that GPD has spoken to indicate if they've ever seen this woman, or even in the area, or
no? So
around that area?
Well, one thing about the area is that it's not open for vehicular traffic anymore. I believe parts of the area is closed off. I believe it's private property based on the condition that we saw it in. There's a fence line, and it's marked by real big objects, boulders that are placed in the roadway to prohibit vehicular traffic. So the only traffic that we would suspect that would go in and out of this area is pedestrian traffic.
Have we spoken to the property owners?
No, we're still working on trying to find the property owners.
Could you tell us what injuries were present on the body?
No, we cannot. Again, we cannot confirm that because we need to do the autopsy.
How soon can an autopsy be done?
We're not sure right now. In our past experience, we wait anywhere from a week to 2 weeks for the medical examiner, the forensic pathologist to come in from Hawaii.
Could that jeopardize the investigation itself or the evidence?
Well, that's always been a challenge, with the law enforcement investigations, especially dealing with homicides, is because we've not. I'm a member of the postmortem commission, and we've been challenged in trying to bring in a medical examiner and hire a medical examiner. So yeah, it's always a challenge. The longer the autopsy takes, the longer the investigation is drawn out.
Do they believe that she might have been sexually assaulted?
We cannot confirm that. No, we have no information at this time.
GPD officers were canvassing the area last night, searching for answers, searching for clues. Can you share with us if anything was found in the vicinity of where this woman was actually located?
No, we cannot confirm what we found or didn't find at the scene. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the reason why the governor directed public safety resources to come in and assist with the Guam Police Department in this investigation. So because we have an unidentified body, we need to broaden the investigation, and so the canvassing area is quite a big area. As you can imagine, there's a lot of pockets of neighborhoods within the area, and so we need all the assistance from all the different public safety agencies so that we can expand our reach and get as much information and collect as much information as we can.
How many?
And so we brought in the National Guard to assist us with intelligence information. We also bringing in the resources from the Homeland Security and the Marianas Fusion Center, and then Director Brennan has brought in her officers who are also from the Micronesian community to assist us with the maybe interpretation with that aspect of the investigation. And then we're also bringing in our counterparts from customs, and we're waiting for the airport police and the port police to provide resources. So we need to bring as much resources as we can because we are dealing with an unidentified body. And so the longer we take to identify the body, the more the investigation becomes drawn out. So the faster we can identify the body, that'll at least help us guide the investigation moving forward.
Is it that she's a Jane Doe, Chief, that makes this case so unique we decided to bring in these outside agencies?
Yes. Again, because like I said, it's a Jane Doe. We don't have any identification. None was found at the scene. So we have to bring in, because now we're dealing with, as we canvass from the crime scene out, we're dealing with two major housing areas. We have all of Toto Road and down into Kina Court, Toto Gardens. There's an Ironwood Villa, and then to the right side we have the old Hyundai housing, and even down to the old Coast 360, the James G apartments in that area. And also it's a very broad area that we're looking at, and then of course north on Route 8, those business establishments, just to see what information they may have, surveillance cameras. We're canvassing the whole area.
Is there any possibility that the autopsy can be expedited, given that it could affect the
we are in contact already with the Chief Prosecutor and the Attorney General to see what we can do to expedite the autopsy.
Maybe go down the line here with the others we have at the table to talk about how their agencies are going to assist.
Sure. For the Guam National Guard, we have specific skill sets, and we are going to offer probably an intelligence analyst to help with the Chief of Police with whatever support we can offer.
Can you expound on what you mean by intelligence analyst? What specifically will they provide to the investigation?
They could gather information, just specific information, of course, all directed by the Chief of Police.
For Homeland Security, in line with the Governor's initiative of keeping Guam safe and secure, we offered up our contribution will be the Marianas Fusion Center, which we have a full force of 10 law enforcement intelligence analysts that can do all types of research and data collection. And in line with that also we're offered up our responder vehicles for the number of officers that we're going to have on the street and whatever else the chief requires as part of this investigation.
Sorry, not Reverend Tax, Department of Youth Affairs. So we have the ability to augment the police force by using some of our officers. We're Category 1 law enforcement officers to help and assist in the investigation.
Likewise, with the Customs and Quarantine Agency, we have a division, the Contraband Enforcement Team, that conducts follow-up investigation, and that's the resources that we can provide the chief to help out with this canvassing of this particular areas and get the information that we need.
So just added law enforcement as well, it sounds like, Chief.
Yes, again, the more law enforcement officers we get out on the street, the quicker we can work to identify this victim. And the quicker we can identify the victim, we can backtrack from there and find out who the victim may have been associated with, where the victim was last at, when she was last seen, and that kind of helps the investigation moving forward.
What is the precedent for ID-less victims? How common is it, and is this the general protocol that's followed?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What is the precedent for ID-less victims? How common is it, and is this the protocol that's followed in terms of bringing all these agencies together?
No, so it's not uncommon for us to find ID-less victims, but getting the message out to the community is how we help to identify our victims, because it's the community who knows who among their loved ones or friends have been missing and haven't been seen. As far as the precedence of getting the law enforcement agencies together, this is every death is important, but because we're dealing with an unidentified body, again we go back to we need to identify the body quickly so that we don't lose any evidence, forensic or otherwise, and the more resources we marshal together, because this is our community, and that we should get our community together, and that means getting all the law enforcement community together as well, so that we can go out there and address crime and keep our community safe.
What about the suspect? Any leads on, or were you able to find any leads at the crime scene to point in the direction of the suspect?
No, we have no information at this point as to who the suspect or suspects may be.
In GPD, I asked earlier, and you couldn't say whether or not she appeared to have been sexually assaulted.
Right.
Can police test for that, or have they?
And that's part of the forensic examination when we do the autopsy. That'll help us determine whether or not any sexual assault of the victim has occurred.
Can I just make a quick comment? From the CID side, we do investigations. What we do is we gather any and all evidence of the scene, especially if it's involving a death investigation. So whether it's involving what you're trying to bring is, has she been assaulted? If there's indications or indicators of assault, and if there's evidence of that, we will definitely have it processed. That's what we get our forensic science division to do that.
Is there evidence of that?
I can't comment on that again because of the
We
nature of
have
the
to wait
investigation.
for the autopsy to help us
Is
confirm
this
what our
evidence that
findings
you've
are.
collected going to be, I guess, processed through the Federal Bureau of Investigations?
And at this point, we can't, again, comment because we first need to do the autopsy.
Yeah.
See, a lot of the things that I know everyone would like to know, but because there's no autopsy, we can only gather, what's at the crime scene.
But that evidence gathered at the crime scene, is that going to be sent to the FBI?
And I can't say.
We will make that determination
Right.
when we get to that point, because again, we still have to analyze the evidence to determine whether or not it needs to be sent to a forensic lab for analysis. Okay, any other questions? If not, thank you very much.
Were there any weapons found near the body?
There's no indication that we found any weapons that may have helped us to determine how the victim came to her death.
So no weapons were found?
Huh?
So no weapons were found?
No, we have no evidence that we can talk of regarding that. Okay? All right, thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.